Tonight on DC News Now at 9, a student hurt in a bathroom, how a young Maryland student was hospitalized, the latest from the district superintendent after a viral post prompted some community questions. Plus, one tragedy in Virginia, a 3-year-old hit and killed by a truck overnight as more children were playing outside. We've got the latest from police. In a holiday metro headache, the news that could disrupt some commutes during the most wonderful time of the year.
And we have some clouds out there right now, so how will temperatures fare tonight? Will we bottom out into the 30s like we did last night? Stick around for my full forecast coming up.
Plus, we're stretching your dollar, tips to navigate spending, and how Amazon is competing with one major discount retailer, how to get ahead of the busy holiday shopping season.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight in Maryland. Prince George's County Police are investigating a fatal hit and run that killed a woman last night. We're told this happened in Marlow Heights on St. Barnabas Road near Branch Avenue. It's there police reportedly found that woman lying in the roadway. The driver of the vehicle did not stay put. Police are working to figure out exactly what happened. And staying in PG County, we are told that a man was killed in a shooting in Oxon Hill. Police responded to Rowan Drive around 10 last night, not far from the National Harbor outlets. Police say that man was also found on the roadway where he died. The investigation is ongoing. And developing now in Maryland, Charles County Public Schools says a student was hurt in a bathroom on Friday and staff called 911. The principal at Barnhart Elementary sent an email to parents and staff saying that 2 students were, quote, reportedly horseplaying. One of their jackets got caught on a door hook of a bathroom stall and they couldn't free themselves, and neither could the other student. So we're told that student left to get help. We've reached out to someone on social media who says that she is the mother of the injured student. Her post circulated widely online and it brought about some questions from those in the community. Well, today the Charles County Public School Superintendent, Maria Navarro, said in part, "I have seen comments online stating that the school and CCPS are covering up what happened. That is not true. Speculation about what did or did not happen, as well as the circulation of misinformation, impedes the investigation process." She added that the sheriff's office is now involved and the student is home from the hospital. There's also no word if charges are in the works after a crash took the life of a young child last night. This happened in Chantilly, Virginia. We did swing by this evening. Tributes to 3-year-old Hugo Nolasco sit in the road where he lost his life just over 24 hours ago. Fairfax County Police told us that the child died after that truck hit him. He and other children were playing in the street. Police also said the driver of the truck stayed on scene. They have not released a name or any word if they will be charged. Meantime, the family has turned to social media to raise money to cover funeral costs. All right, at this hour, DC police want your help to solve 2 smash and grab break-ins, both within a month of each other along H Street in Northeast. DC News Now's Dave Lavelle joins us from where one of those 2 burglaries happened with the latest information. Dave, police are hoping newly released video helps them find suspects.
Well, good evening to you, Ben. We are outside Ama Moniere. It's one of the businesses, according to neighbors, targeted by thieves. Now, DC police need your help to solve these crimes. They've released security camera footage of the break-in at this business that happened just after midnight, September 10th. Several suspects stole several pieces of high-end clothing and escaped. That's not the only crime police want to solve. They've also released video from the October 13th break-in and robbery of a vape shop just a block away along H Street. Police said 3 people are responsible for that crime. You're asked to contact police if you have any information, and that information could earn you a reward of up to $1,000 for each crime. We're live along the 8th Street corridor in Northeast. Dave Lavelle, DC News Now.
All right, thanks to Dave tonight. In D.C., online rumors of American University closing its School of Education are not true. This concern started when an email from the dean circulated on a popular D.C. social media account, reportedly citing a $60 million university-wide deficit as the cause for the cuts. But AU tells DC News Now, quote, "There is no discussion or change to its academic programs, offerings, or mission," going on to say Our commitment to the growth and success of this school of education remains steadfast and strong. Time is 9 to 5. Over to meteorologist Scott Sumner. The look on the forecast. Scott, you had mentioned earlier your numbers didn't change from yesterday, but we're getting a mix of, well, a smorgasbord of different things this week.
Yes, we will. Very well said. Potpourri, if you like, of different items on the menu, right, in the weather department. We're going to start off with a dose of clouds and maybe a dish of rain over the next couple of days, and eventually we'll get into a plate of some snow, but that's later on in the week. Currents 53 degrees, overcast skies out there as we speak this evening, and we'll see those temperatures slide from where they are now in the 50s through the 40s and going right down to, I would say we'll drop about another 10 degrees here in D.C. and then halt and put a little stop to that thermometer going any further, and then we'll start to turn the corner and ride that rail right up to 54 degrees around 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, with regards to our satellite and radar perspective, we have a lot of clouds across the area. Yes, there are a couple little breaks in between most of the overcast skies, but those breaks are few and far between at this point in time. We will see more breaks in the cloud coverage at this time tomorrow night. Now, what about tomorrow morning, though? We're getting up for your breakfast forecast on Monday. 6 and 7 o'clock will be into the 40s, 9 o'clock into the 50s, but it will remain dry each of those hours. Ben?
All right, Scott, we'll see in just a bit. We've just learned that President Joe Biden has reportedly authorized the use of U.S.-supplied long-range missiles for Ukraine to strike even deeper within Russia. That decision comes as thousands of North Korean troops have been sent into a region along Ukraine's northern border to help Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been pressing the U.S. president for months to allow Ukraine to strike military targets even deeper inside Russia with Western-supplied weapons. Zelensky had previously said the U.S. decision to not allow the strikes made it impossible for Ukraine to stop Russians and their attacks on cities and electrical grids. Well, a new federal report says 2 U.S. Park police officers were justified when they shot and killed a man back in 2017 after a police chase on the George Washington Memorial Parkway. The Inspector General says the officers followed all but one policy at the time. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg has the full report from outside of the Department of the Interior.
The 2 officers are still on paid leave. They filed a lawsuit against the Department of the Interior over the summer because the department still hasn't made a decision on their firing. Now, I talked with Bijan Gaysar's father today, who says he's not surprised but disappointed. This Sunday marks 7 years since Bijan Gaysar of McLean was shot and killed by U.S. Park police officers.
The incident didn't kill him, only killed me too. I am not the same person anymore.
Gaysar was rear-ended in 2017 but left the scene. He was stopped twice on the GW Parkway before driving off. The third time he was stopped is when officers Lucas Vineyard and Alejandro Amaya fired multiple shots at him as he tried driving away.
They actually knew that he was a victim of the hit and run.
This week's Inspector General report concluded the officers' pursuit and drawing their guns was consistent with department policy. However, the report says Amaya struck Gaysar's SUV window during the second stop with his gun, and that did violate the Park Police's firearms policy.
This is not a democracy, the way this has happened, and the direction that we are going. I mean, literally with a simple mistake, you can easily get killed without any consequences to anybody.
Gaysar's father, James, says the report released near the anniversary of his son's death is tough.
Although I have no hope of having real justice or real changes to save other people's life, I hope at some point this would happen and we would be more kind, gentle toward each other.
Officer Vineyard's attorney told me today the IG's report came to the same conclusion as everyone else who reviewed the evidence, that Officer Vineyard did nothing wrong. He said he would not comment on the pending litigation, but hopes that it does put an end to the department's administrative action. In Northwest, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Daniel. Staying in Virginia, the state legislature is moving forward with plans to protect reproductive rights into the Constitution. A House committee advanced a proposed constitutional amendment that states every individual has the fundamental right to reproductive freedom, including contraception, abortion care, miscarriage management, and fertility care. Democrats say the amendment is compatible with current state law. Republicans say it goes too far.
Since the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs, we have seen some states enact dangerous abortion bans that have endangered the lives of women. We are determined to protect every individual's reproductive freedom, and HJ1 will do just that.
I think it gives courts pretty clear instruction that they are to ignore any of the rights, if they exist, of the unborn child at any point in the pregnancy, that all of those rights are afforded only to the mother of the child.
There are still several hurdles before the amendment could become law. The process for a constitutional amendment usually takes 2 years. Well, law enforcement is reminding people to not even try and get contraband on flights after recently telling us about this shocking discovery at Dulles last month. These packages of chocolate, not so fast, turned out to be cocaine. Customs and Border agents say they found 28 pounds of the drug inside 10 packages of hot chocolate. That amount of cocaine has a street value, we're told, of nearly $1 million. And officials say it was headed to Northern Virginia, adding that the packets were hidden in a shipment a man was carrying from Guatemala. Agents say they were not able to link the man to drugs. Meantime, his visa was canceled. He was sent back on the next flight to Guatemala. We've got a heads up for the holidays for Metro riders. WMATA just announced that some stations will be closed during the festive season. Crews will be doing construction work and will close some stations along the blue, orange, and silver lines between December 20th and 26th. That involves Farragut West, McPherson Square, and the lower level of Metro Center. They'll be shut down with shuttle buses running instead. Express shuttles will be available during rush hour only. Then between December 27th and 30th, Farragut West, McPherson Square, and the lower levels at Metro Center, plus Federal Triangle, Smithsonian, and L'Enfant Plaza will be closed. Shuttles will once again be available. Metro says crews will upgrade platform lighting and other repair work.